From stories across the world to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. A very good evening to Amita Chandra.
Good evening, I'm Lakshitendra Singha, and to start off, let's take a quick look at the top stories.
A COVID-19 patient detected from Velikada prison. Steps taken to mitigate the threat. People appreciate the president for the efforts taken to eradicate the illegal drug trafficking in the country. Extend support to the government for a new plan to increase employment opportunities, Prime Minister requests. Interest rates payable for the senior citizens not reduced, the government emphasizes. The inspector of police who had surrendered to the police over an illegal drug trafficking incident detained and interrogated. Shantini Kongahage questions the victory to be accomplished on behalf of the members of the United National Party by contesting from a different party. Twin elephant calves birth in Mineria. Melbourne lockdown for 6 weeks. Brazil president shows COVID-19 symptoms.
On to those and other stories in detail, starting off with your top story. An inmate of the Velikada prison has been identified as a COVID-19 patient. Director General of Health Services Dr. Anil Jasinghe said that the inmate was transferred to the Velikada prison from Kandakadu Drug Rehabilitation Centre. The COVID-19 patient identified in the Velikada prison was transferred from the rehabilitation centre on the 27th of June. PCR tests and quarantine process have been initiated on the close contacts of the newly identified COVID-19 patient. Accordingly, biosamples from 343 individuals were obtained for PCR tests. Meanwhile, admission of visitors to the Velikada prison has been temporarily suspended with the reporting of the new patient. Meanwhile, 38 COVID-19 patients have fully recovered from the disease and discharged from hospitals in the past 24 hours. Accordingly, a total of 1,955 recoveries have been reported in the country thus far. The percentage of the total recovery stands at 93.99%. A total of 114 COVID-19 patients are under medical care at present, which is at 5.48%. In the meantime, 888 Sri Lankan Navy personnel have fully recovered from the disease thus far, which is 98.23%. A total 16 COVID-19 patients are still in medical care, which is at 1.76%. A total 281 Sri Lankans stranded in Saudi Arabia and Qatar and unable to return to the country were repatriated to the country this morning. Majority of the returnees were housemates. They were brought back to the country through a special flight of Sri Lankan Airlines. They were directed to PCR tests at the airport upon their arrival and directed to the quarantine centre subsequently. Meanwhile, students are returning to their respective universities with the resumption of the academic studies in state universities. The University Grants Commission has mentioned that the academic proceedings will be resumed from today and the examination dates will be notified in future.
Now, residents in many parts of Puttlam have praised President Gotabaya Rajapakse for the efforts taken to eradicate the illegal drugs racket in the country. They extended their appreciation during the public rallies attended by President Gotabaya Rajapakse in the district yesterday. The president participated in a rally organized in Maravilla town yesterday. The rally was organized by former Minister Dayashrita Tissera. The president also participated in a rally organized near a gymnasium in the Mutakatua area of Maravilla. The rally was organized by former chairman of North India Pradeshia Sabha, Nilanga Fernando. Furthermore, the president participated in a rally organized by former provincial councillor Trevin Fernando and was held in front of Sampath Reception Hall in Wennapua. The public rally organised by former provincial councillor UKD Palita Rohana near the Valadevale in Madampe was also attended by the president. Another public rally was organised in Dankatua town by former parliamentarian Arundika Fernando. A public rally was held in Singakuli area. The rally was organised by Putlam district candidate Jagat Priyankara. Now on to more local stories. Various individuals and organizations are making financial contributions to the Itukama Healthcare and Social Security Fund. Now meanwhile, a retired teacher from Putlam district directed a contribution of 200,000 rupees which she had gathered by saving her monthly pension to the Itukama Healthcare and Social Security Fund. An 84-year-old retired female teacher, MAHP Marasinger, handed over 200,000 rupees to President Gotabaya Rajapakse, who was in Putlam yesterday, as a contribution to the COVID fund. She is a resident of Manakulame area in Putlam and had been engaged in the teaching profession for over 31 years. Her husband, who was a retired principal, had passed away 3 years ago. Living alone at the moment, she is engaging in various social and religious benevolent activities by saving up her pension. This donation was handed over to the president during a public rally in Thanivella in Madampe, organised in support of candidates of the Sri Lanka Potujana Perumana contesting in the upcoming parliamentary election. Quote, "Dear President, set up a government that protects law, justice and virtue and build a prosperous country," unquote, she had written on the paper used to wrap 5,000 rupee notes amounting to the value of the donation.
Now, meanwhile, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapakse says that the Kurunegala district, which consists of 4 ancient kingdoms, will be transformed into a tourism zone. The Prime Minister made these remarks while addressing the meeting for the Provincial Council representatives in Kurunegala today. The objective of the meeting was to discuss on the development activities of the Kurunegala district. A group of UMP Provincial Council representatives also pledged their support for Sri Lanka Potujana Perumana at the meeting. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapakse emphasized that all should gather for the development process of the country. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapakse said that Kurunegala district is a district consisting of a heritage of 4 kingdoms, which therefore can be converted into a tourism zone. He said that these kingdoms are yet to be introduced for the tourists or the rest of the world. He added that the private sector should be encouraged to take steps to arrange necessary accommodation facilities for tourists to stay in the district to experience its heritage. He said that the government has an objective as well as an understanding over the necessities and the development of the district. The Prime Minister said that the oldest party in the country, the United National Party, has been severely divided into 2 factions and engaging in various clashes over many issues. He added that many United National Party members have pledged support to the governing party. However, he said that some entities have requested them not to admit these members to the party. Yet he said that these members of the United National Party will be admitted into the ruling party.
කියනවා වගේ මේ කට්ටිය ගන්න එපයි කියලාත් කියනවා. එහෙම බෑ. එක්සත් ජාතිපක්ෂයේ අය අපිට එනවා නම් ගන්න. ඒ අය ඉන්නේ අනතන අනාථ වෙලා. මේ පක්ෂ දෙක ගහ ගන්නවා. පක්ෂයේ නායකත්වයක් නැහැ.
While addressing a public gathering in Hiriala electorate in Kurunegala, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapakse said to cast the vote to Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna for a new plan to increase employment opportunities in the country. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapakse said that the necessary arrangements have been made over the water supply required for agriculture and water supply projects, and officers have been already deployed to look into these matters, and accordingly necessary planning has been initiated at present. He said that a major objection was directed to Minister Chamal Rajapakse when initiating the Dadru Oya project. He confirmed the existence of several entities which continue to work against the development of the country. The Prime Minister said that they have to be cautious of these entities. He said that the government has taken the initiatives to make necessary plans responsibly to fulfill the needs of the public, to ensure education to all children and development of the country. The Prime Minister said that the general public in the country had to suffer due to the conflicts between the then President Maithripala Sirisena and then Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. He added that the present government will change this discourse.
Now, in the meantime, co-cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena says that the special interest scheme for the fixed deposits of senior citizens initiated in 2014 by their government will be continued in future. He now pointed out that the tax concession on interest rates of the deposits of senior citizens will also be continued. The minister made these remarks while addressing a media briefing held in Colombo today. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that Secretary to the Ministry of Finance, Economy and Policy Development has announced that no revision has been made to the special scheme for senior citizens. He said that this special scheme was offered to senior citizens from 2014 and no revision had been made to the scheme as of yet. He rejected the media reports which claimed that amendments have been made to the special interest rates offered to senior citizens and that the concessions provided on the rate of return have withdrawn. The minister said that the Prime Minister as the Finance Minister introduced a tax relief package countering the tax hunt in previous times. He added that previously the income tax concessions were extended for income earned up to 1.5 million rupees per year. Yet, at present, the tax concessions have been extended for 3 million rupees worth income earned per year, increasing the tax concessions extended for the general public. The minister further added that no revision of the special interest rate benefit offered for senior citizens deposits under the special interest rates for senior citizens deposits program, but the income tax concessions have been increased for the benefit of the public.
Now, the police inspector attached to the Police Narcotics Bureau recently wanted for the investigations conducted on the same bureau has surrendered to the Kadawatha police. So far, 16 police officers attached to the Police Narcotics Bureau and 3 civilians have been taken into custody for illegal drug trafficking. A special investigation has already been commenced by the Criminal Investigation Department over the illegal drug racket carried out inside the Police Narcotics Bureau. Police Inspector Saman Wasantakumara had fled from his residence and remained hidden until he surrendered himself to the Kadawatha police. He was detained under the custody of Criminal Investigation Department for further interrogations under the temporary provisions of the Terrorism Prevention Act. The Police Special Task Force has taken a suspect into custody with more than 56 kilograms of cannabis in his possession during a raid conducted in the Kalani Nadi Mawatha Mulleriyawa. The vehicle used to smuggle the stash of cannabis was also taken into police custody and handed over to the Mulleriyawa police for further investigations. Meanwhile, several weapons which can be used for various criminal activities have been apprehended from Kukulnape in Pallewala Medigama. These weapons were taken into custody upon a tip-off received by the Western Provincial Intelligence Division. The police have said that the stash of weapons consists of a firearm produced in Brazil, 4 live ammunitions, 2 swords and a special weapon procured locally. The suspects residing in the house where the weapons were hidden were also taken into custody. The Police Special Task Force has apprehended a close associate of organized criminal Angoda Lokka, which is currently hidden in a foreign country, along with heroin in his possession. The The suspect Krishan Nilangadabare alias Beba was taken into custody last night from Shantalokagama area in Aturugiriya. It was revealed that this suspect had involved in the shooting of a quarry owner in Aturugiriya on the 19th of March 2018 and shooting at the residence of the secretary to the former MP Sujiva Senasinghe. The suspect was remanded till the 20th of July after he was produced before the Kaduwala Magistrates Court today.
Now, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapakse says that the term Yuthakama should be given the utmost priority to ensure civilization and culture of the country. The Prime Minister made these remarks while addressing a ceremony held at the Sri Lanka Foundation Institute yesterday. The ceremony to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the political career of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapakse was organized by Yuthakama organization. The Prime Minister received a series of proposals consisting of 5 factors based on the outlook Strong Nation, Our Own Constitution from the national organizer of the Yuthakama organization. Gemitha Kumaratunga presented the document titled Mahinda Mehevaraka Kuta Praptiya Yuga Yuga Pavatina Samaja Sammutayak to the Prime Minister at the event. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapakse said that the country's civilization and culture have been shaped based on the term Yuthakama, also known as duty. He said that the term duty was abolished with the political transformation which occurred in 2015. The Prime Minister said that interference of foreign nations were observed by the public for the first time in the country with the political transformation that happened in 2015. He said that the country underwent a drastic change with this transformation. The Prime Minister pointed out that many falsified and baseless information was circulated during the time. He said that in one instance there was a claim that he had purchased all the buildings along the strip from Golf-Face Green to Kolpiri Junction. He also mentioned another rumor spread during the time claiming that he purchased a hotel in Dubai. The Prime Minister said that some entities claimed that they were aware of the balance of his bank accounts. Despite such falsified claims, he said that they have gained many victories. He said that they require a suitable constitution to ensure and sustain these victories in the future. The Prime Minister said that the government requires a 2/3 majority in Parliament, bring in the necessary amendments to the Constitution to achieve these objectives. He said that the general public in the country has assured the 2/3 majority on their favour.
ඒක අද වෙනකොට මම හිතන්නේ ජනතාව නම් තීන්දුව කරලා තියෙනවා.
Secretary General of the Asgiriya chapter of Siam sect, Venerable Madagama Dhammanandathera, Chancellor of the Sabaragamu University, Venerable Professor Kumburugamue Vajirathera, Chief Incumbent of the Abhayarama Temple, Narahempita, Venerable Muruthetue Anandathera, Chief Incumbent of Buddhist Cultural Center, Venerable Kirama Vimalajoti Thera, and Chief Incumbent of Bellanvilla Rajamaha Viharya, Bellanvilla Dhammaratanathera, Minister Bandula Gunavardhana, and Chairman of the Sri Lanka Podu Jana Peramuna, Professor Gio Pires, were present at the occasion.
We take a look at how the world is combating the COVID-19 pandemic. More than 11.77 million people around the world have now been diagnosed with COVID-19, and more than 541,000 have died from the disease. The United States and Brazil have reported the most cases and the highest death tolls. Iran has recorded its highest number of deaths from COVID-19 with 200 fatalities reported in the past 24 hours, while Brazilian President Bolsonaro has been tested again for coronavirus. Iran reported 200 new deaths from the coronavirus, the most in a single day since the Middle East's deadliest outbreak began in February, bringing the total number of victims to 11,931. The previous record was Sunday's toll of 163 deaths. Another 2,637 people have tested positive for the virus, taking the total official number of cases to 245,688. Meanwhile, Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has had another coronavirus test after reporting symptoms associated with the respiratory disease, including a fever. President Bolsonaro told supporters gathered outside the presidential palace that he was tested for the virus and that a medical examination had shown his lungs were clean. The results are expected to be issued today. Brazil is second only to the United States in number of coronavirus infections and deaths. More than 65,000 people have died from the coronavirus in Brazil, and over 1.62 million cases have been confirmed so far. Meanwhile, India's death toll has surpassed 20,000 as the country moves ahead with plans to relax its nationwide lockdown. The country reported 467 new deaths from coronavirus in the past 24 hours, bringing the total death toll to 20,160. The country has also recorded 22,252 new confirmed cases. New cases and deaths are both rising at their fastest pace in 3 months, according to foreign media reports. Furthermore, Russia has reported 6,368 new coronavirus cases, taking its nationwide tally to infections to 694,230. The country's coronavirus crisis response center said 198 people had died from the virus in the past 24 hours, bringing the death toll to 10,494. Russia has confirmed that 463,880 people have recovered from the virus. Meanwhile, Beijing reported 0 new cases of coronavirus today for the first time since the emergence of a cluster in the Chinese capital in June that prompted fears of a domestic second wave. A total of 335 people have been infected since a cluster emerged at the city's massive wholesale market in early June. The Beijing government has tested more than 11 million people for COVID-19 since June 11th, roughly half of the city's population.
Now, taking a look at Australia's second largest city, lockdown measures were reimposed today, confining Melbourne residents to their homes unless undertaking essential business for 6 weeks as officials scramble to contain a coronavirus outbreak.
Australia's second biggest city was put back under lockdown on Tuesday as Victoria state officials scrambled to get a coronavirus outbreak under control. Melbourne residents will be confined to their homes for 6 weeks unless they're undertaking essential business. The call affects around 4.9 million people and was announced just hours before the busy border between Victoria, where Melbourne is the capital, and New South Wales is scheduled to close for the first time in a century. From midnight Wednesday, everyone in Melbourne will be required to stay indoors unless venturing to work, studying, shopping for food or attending medical appointments. Restaurants, cafes and bars will only provide a takeaway service, and non-essential outfits like gyms and salons will be closed. Here's Victoria Premier Daniel Andrews.
But let's not see this as simply an inconvenience. It's much more than that. It's a pandemic, and it will kill thousands of people if it gets completely away from us. And that'll be more than inconvenient, that'll be tragic. We don't want that. We can avoid that, but we all have a part to play in that.
Victoria was responsible for the vast majority of new cases reported nationally on Tuesday, in what was the biggest one-day rise since early April. The spike has worried officials, despite the national total of cases and deaths being far lower than many other countries. The border closure and reintroduction of restrictions in Melbourne deal a blow to Australia's hopes for quick economic recovery, as it speeds towards its first recession in nearly 3 decades.
Welcome back, and we're ready to take you through some more stories from home. UMP Candy District candidate Shantini Kongahage questioned the Sajid faction over the attempts taken to win the election on behalf of the supporters of the United National Party by contesting from a different party. She made these remarks while addressing a public rally of the United National Party yesterday. UMP Candy District candidate Shantini Kongahage questioned whether outside entities from different political parties were able to provide leadership to gain political power during the golden eras of the party. She said that the faction which had abandoned the party is contesting from a different political party at a time when the public have to be reminded of whether they were nurtured by the politicians. She added that they could have contested the parliamentary election as one party and acquired majority seats in the parliament on behalf of the general public. She said that the public questioned on the work carried out by the politicians who had abandoned the party when they were ministers. She said that the entire nation is frustrated by politics due to the behavior of these intermediaries. Meanwhile, a public rally of the Samagi Jana Balawege and a media briefing of Janata Vimukti Peramuna were held yesterday. Samagi Jana Balawege candidate Ravindra Samaravira said that the employment crisis is a massive shortcoming from the previous government period. He said that they left the United National Party not due to any issues against the party, but the issues pertaining to the leader of the party. He added that they have no plans to look into the issues of the general public, which led them to leave the party. He further added that the former Prime Minister and the present leader of the UMP was unable to resolve the employment issue in the country. He said that they will secure victory in the upcoming parliamentary election with the support of the public. Secretary of the JVP Tilvin Silva questioned over the work carried out by the previous government in the past 5 years. He said that the previous government failed to respect the mandate of the nation in the past 5 years. He added that such party is contesting the parliamentary election and requesting the public for their mandate. He said that this is a massive joke for the public.
Now, in the meantime, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapakse has advised relevant authorities to speed up the process of the construction of 10 bridges in the Colombo port city. Constructions of all the bridges are scheduled to be completed within this year. The construction process of the Colombo port city has been delayed in the last few years. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapakse advised relevant authorities in December last year to expedite the construction process of the Colombo port city. The project has been initiated on several stages. The construction of 10 bridges has also been requested to expedite, and those bridges are planned to be constructed over the seawater canal in the port city. The canal, which is 80 meters in width and around 3 kilometers long, is expected to provide a beautified outlook to the Colombo port city project. The canal is also expected to utilize the drainage systems of the port city and in engaging activities, engineering activities as well. Out of the 10 bridges, 5 are planned to be used for pedestrians and the remaining 5 are reserved for vehicles. Bridges are in various lengths and widths ranging from 80 to 130 meters and 4 to 42 meters respectively. Bridges for vehicles are being constructed in concrete and pedestrian bridges are being constructed in metal. Furthermore, passenger transportation boats and kayaking boats for sporting activities are suggested to be implemented through the canal running through the port city.
The Court of Appeal issued an interim order preventing arrest of former Minister Ravi Karunanayake and 6 other suspects in connection to the alleged bond scam incident. The interim order was issued by a 3-member judge bench. The arrest warrants issued by the Colombo Fort Magistrate Court to arrest former Minister Ravi Karunanayake and 6 other suspects in connection to the alleged misappropriation of more than 52 billion rupees in government bonds in a central bank auction in 2016 have been prevented accordingly. The Court of Appeal declared that the stay order will be in effect until the hearing of the writ petition completes. President of the Court of Appeal AHMD Nawaz stated that the stay order will not hinder the ongoing investigations conducted in connection to the central bank bond scam incident. The court ordered the respective parties of the court case to file objections against the writ petition within 6 weeks. The Court of Appeal issued this stay order after considering the petitions filed by former Minister Ravi Karunanayake, Chairman of Perpetual Treasuries Limited Arjun Aloysius, Chief Executive of the company Kasun Palihena, Chittaranjan Hulugalla, officers of Sri Lanka Central Bank Indika Saman Kumara and S. Padumanaban to prevent the implementation of arrest warrants issued by Colombo Fort Magistrate Court.
Now, in more local stories, the birth of twin elephants for the first time in history of Sri Lanka was reported from the Minneria National Park. The 2 elephant calves of 2 weeks of age were observed to be in playful behavior in the ground near the Minneria tank today. Wildlife Conservation Department, along with a former Director General of the department, Dr. Sumit Pilapitiya, were able to uncover information related to the twin elephant calves during a study conducted on the social behavioral patterns of the elephants in Minneria. Now, following an observation conducted for a long time period, they were able to confirm that these calves were twins.